Hi everyone, welcome back on my channel. My name is Marie and we are here today for a little wrap up because I have read through my spring TBR, like my life was at stake. So I think I was done with the spring TBR like 2 weeks after I picked it. So then I've just been reading like random books that were not on my like season TBRs, and I'm here to talk about them because I did my reading wrap-ups in French already. I will not be talking about the French books that I read because you can't find them in English. So if you're interested in seeing the French books that I read, I recommend you watch directly my reading wrap-ups in French. There is no particular order to the books that I'm going to be talking about. I'm just like gonna pick them and then talk about them because I don't even remember the order in which I read them. So yeah, get ready, get cozy because I have quite a few books to show you guys today. And without further ado, let's just get into the video. I read finally Circe by Madeline Miller. I had read like The Song of Achilles maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and although I truly loved that book, The Song of Achilles was about events that I already knew because I'm a big Greek mythology fan. So, like, most of the things that were happening in The Song of Achilles, I already knew about them. Whereas in Circe, I knew little to nothing about that very important character. I was very, very happy when I started this book because I knew I was gonna learn so many things, and I did. And I think Madeline Miller has such a unique way of writing stories about the Greek mythology. And honestly, I've loved all of the books that I read by her. So in this book, you follow Circe, who is a goddess. You follow her through her exile. You know about her origins, her siblings. It was overall a very interesting book and also so beautifully written. So I recommend this book for all Greek mythology fans because I absolutely adored it. I think like she will never disappoint me whatever she writes, and I am so glad that I finally got around to reading this book. Then I read The Letter to the Father and Letters to Milena by Franz Kafka, which have both been published once he was dead. Franz Kafka is an author of the 20th century. He writes in German because he lives in Austria, and Milena was his Czech translator. So at first their relationship was a work relationship, and then their relationship grew into something more passionate. So the letters to Milena are like truly heartbreaking, and I really loved reading through them. I think letters are my favorite kind of literature. I absolutely adore writing letters and reading letters. So this did not disappoint. And then The Letter to the Father is a letter that Kafka wrote to his dad, and the dad never read it. So this is just like a desperate attempt on trying to reach out to his father and trying to understand one another. And his dad never got to read that, which I think is kind of sad. So these two were like so unexpected, and I really adored them both. So I will be reading more of Kafka's work, but I think I will like his letters most because I just love reading letters, and you can tell a lot about a person from the letters that they send. I read in French the Traveling Cat Chronicles. I thought it was gonna be about a stray cat and like the life of that stray cat. I could not have been further from the plot. So here you follow Satoru and his cat Nana as they try to find a new owner for Nana because Satoru has been caring for him for 5 years, and then someday you learn that he cannot take care of his cat anymore. You don't know the reason why, but so he takes his cat on this journey to find a new owner, and every single person that the cat is going to meet are relatives of Satoru, friends of Satoru, and I was not expecting to dislike this book, but I was not expecting to like it, let alone love it, and that's what happened. Like, I truly loved this book with all my heart. It's probably going to be on the list of like my all-time favorite books, because it was so beautifully written, and you, like the translator, at least in French, did a great job at carrying every feeling that we were supposed to be feeling. And it was such a beautiful book, a beautiful read. And I'm so happy that I read it. And I do have the second book in English, although I expect that I'm going to like the second book less, because you don't need a second book to that. So we'll see. I will be reading it soon, I think. Then I read Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. It's really hard for me to read classics and like them, because the English is quite hard for me to understand. So I had been putting this off for a very long time, and also horror books scared the shit out of me, and I thought, well, this has always been sold as some kind of horror book, so I was not keen on reading this. But then I did, and it was way less scary than I expected, because I guess it's like the definition of horror in the 19th century, which is absolutely not the same as it is now. Here you follow the story of Dr. Frankenstein, who creates a creature who starts killing people. So you follow the story of both the creator and the creature. And this was like, the horror was there, but not where I expected it to be. I think my favorite character in that story was definitely the creature, who doesn't even have a name. And so this book was unexpected, but I think I really liked it. Then I read The Hobbit by Tolkien, because, well, I already said that, but my good friend told me that if I was going to read the Lord of the Rings trilogy, I had to start with this one. And I did. I read the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I will not be talking about it in this video, because I think I will make a special video for like all the sagas, all the series and trilogies that I have been reading. So the Lord of the Rings trilogy will be in that video. In The Hobbit, you follow Bilbo, who is a hobbit, and I read it in French, so I'm not sure about my translation of the character's name, and so in English. He is kind of forced by some dwarfs to follow them into a very dangerous adventure in order to take back what was once theirs, because now their mountain is being occupied by a dragon and they want it back. So they set out for that journey. I had a hard time with this, and it was sort of really frustrating, because I did not understand the reason why Bilbo had to go with them on the journey. I did not understand in what way was he important. And also the dragon that you hear about, like from the beginning of the story, the dragon who has terrified generations of people, he dies in like 2 pages. And he's not even killed by the dwarves. So, like, that was overall a very frustrating read. But I did carry on reading the Lord of the Rings trilogy, so I'm kind of proud of myself for that. But this was definitely not a good read for me. I did not enjoy it. I liked the story and I liked the adventures. I was just like really frustrated with the characters, because in the Lord of the Rings trilogy you understand why Frodo is important, whereas here I don't understand why Bilbo was important. So yeah, maybe I read it wrong, maybe I read it too fast, but this was definitely not my favorite book of Tolkien's work. Then I read The Near Witch by VE Schwab. Maybe you remember me saying at the beginning, well, last year, that if I did not enjoy Gallant and The Near Witch, I would give up on VE Schwab, because I had already tried some of her books and did not like them. Well, this is making me reconsider what I said, because I absolutely loved it. In here, you follow the story of Lexi. She lives in the town of Near, and, well, everybody knows about the legend of the Near Witch, which is supposedly just a story to scare children away. A stranger is going to enter the town, and he seems to be disappearing like smoke, and then the next day, children start going missing. So obviously the boy falls under suspicion. I loved reading this book, and also there was some quotes that I really, really liked. So I like that story. So I think I will try maybe more of VE Schwab's books. If you have any recommendation, do not recommend Our Dark Duet, because I already read it and I did not understand a single thing out of it. So I will not be reading this. But if you have like some recommendation, maybe I think more of like standalones by VE Schwab instead of series. Definitely tell me in the comment, because I really like this one. And this one has 2 stories in it. So you get the Near Witch and the Ashbourne boy, who follows the story of the stranger that you know nothing about and that arrives in the town of Near. And like, I grew to care for the characters, to understand where their fear was coming from. And yeah, it was just such a nice witch story. So I really enjoyed this one. Then I read The Lady and the Unicorn by Tracy Chevallier. This follows the story of, well, the famous tapestry that you can find in the Middle Age museum in Paris, called the Lady and the Unicorn. And what's great about that tapestry is that it's supposed to represent the 5 senses, like taste, touch, hearing, and such. I don't know how you call them in English. So this was a really nice story, although I hated the main character. It's told by different point of views. There are some characters that I really, really loved, and then one male character who is, the main character that I hated. But again, it's the Middle Ages, so I guess circumstances are different and people are different, so it totally made sense. I had read, like maybe 7 years ago, another book by Tracy Chevallier, which I liked way more than this one. But it was still fun reading this book. I don't have a lot to say about it. I read it, I liked it, but like not more than that, if you see what I mean. Then I read The Balloon Thief by Aneesa Marufu. My girlfriend bought me this book because, well, it has an air balloon on the cover, and in where I live in France, in my city, summer is like air balloon season. You can see so many of them, and I love seeing them. So she just like got me this book, not knowing what it was about. So it tells the story of Khadija, who is a girl and supposed to get married soon, although she doesn't want to, and so desperately, to run away from her marriage and her potential groom, she is going to jump into a balloon that is flying off. She is going to find herself in the middle of a big war. I liked this book because, first off, it's a standalone, it's not a big series, and since I'm, first off, not a big fan of fantasy, when it's a very long series with lots of books, I tend to, giving up on the series because I don't like it most of the time. So this was a standalone, and it was really well done, and I loved the ending of this book, and I was not expecting it. It was full of plot twists that I did not expect and that I did not see coming, so it was a really good read. And also, you have a folklore in that book that I am not used to reading about. So this was a great read. The one downside of it is that the love story was sounding really quick to me because, you only get one book, so I feel like he doesn't give enough time for the characters to build a real love relationship. So I always feel like when it's just one book and characters fall in love with one another, it's always so quick and it doesn't feel real to me most of the time. But that was the only downside of this book, so I really liked it and I recommend it to people who like fantasy but not like too long series. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I am done with this wrap up. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I feel like my English has gotten worse because, it's been a long time since I filmed an English video, a video where I speak in English. This was like really hard for me. I will try to do wrap-ups more often so I don't fall behind. That being said, I will right now go and read some more. So I wish you guys a great day. And see you later for another video. Bye!